You've failed before, haven't you? You've tried your best, worked hard, and still, life pushed you down. Sometimes you wonder if success is only for the lucky ones. But what if I told you, the man who built one of the biggest companies in the world, was once considered a total failure? This is the real story of Jack Ma, not the billionaire version the world sees today, but the man who fell again and again, and still refused to give up. Because behind every success, there's a pain the world doesn't see. Jack Ma was born in Hangzhou, China, a time when the country was still opening up to the world. He wasn't rich. He didn't have any powerful family connections. He didn't even have good grades. In school, he failed again and again. In fact, he failed his college entrance exam twice. He applied for jobs, and was rejected more than 30 times. Even KFC once came to his city to hire people. 24 people applied, 23 were selected. Only one person was rejected. That was Jack Ma. He laughed when he told that story years later, but imagine that moment. Imagine being the only one rejected. Imagine walking home after hearing, "Sorry, you're not good enough." But that's the thing about Jack, he didn't stop. He didn't let rejection define him. Because somewhere deep inside, he believed one thing: if you never give up, you still have a chance. He loved English. Not because it would make him rich, but because it made him feel connected to the world. As a teenager, he would ride his bicycle every morning to a nearby hotel just to talk to foreigners and practice English, for free. For 9 years, he did this every day, rain or shine, just to improve his English. He didn't have books. He didn't have teachers. His classroom was the street. His teachers were the tourists. That's where he learned not just English, but confidence. He learned how people from different countries think. How they talk. How they see the world. That habit, that hunger to learn, was the foundation of the man who would later change the internet in China forever. After finishing college, he started teaching English for just $12 a month. Most people would say, "What's the point? You studied, and now you're teaching for a salary that barely feeds you." But Jack Ma didn't see it that way. He said, "At least I'm doing something that adds value to others." He wasn't rich, but he was learning how to talk to people, how to communicate ideas, how to lead. He was shaping the mindset that would later make him unstoppable. Years passed. The internet arrived. Jack didn't even know what a computer was. When he first saw the internet on a trip to the US, he typed one word into the search bar: beer. He saw results for American beer, German beer, but none for Chinese beer. That's when a spark lit inside him: why is China not on the internet? He returned home with a crazy idea: to bring Chinese businesses online. Everyone laughed. Even his friends said, "Jack, you don't even know what a computer is." But he said, "I may not know technology, but I know people." His first company failed. His second one failed too. He was scammed, cheated, and humiliated. But he didn't stop. Because failure wasn't new to him, he had lived with it his whole life. In 1999, in his small apartment, Jack gathered 17 friends and told them about his new dream, a platform for small Chinese businesses to sell their products to the world. They named it Alibaba. He chose the name because it was easy to say, and because everyone knew the story of Open Sesame. To him, Alibaba meant opening doors, doors of opportunity for millions of people. But success didn't come overnight. He faced criticism, rejection, and endless doubt. When he went to Silicon Valley to raise money, every investor said no. Some laughed. Some said China would never trust online shopping. But Jack Ma said, "We will make it happen. Because we believe." He didn't build Alibaba with money, he built it with vision. He told his team, "We don't compete with others. We compete with ourselves." For years, they struggled. No profits, no big results, just hard work and hope. Jack used to tell his team, "Today is hard. Tomorrow will be worse. But the day after tomorrow will be beautiful. Most people die tomorrow night. That line became his philosophy, that real success is about surviving when everyone else quits. Alibaba finally started growing. One day, someone placed an order online, and Jack realized, this is the beginning of something big. But even then, he didn't relax. He knew success can make you lazy. He always told his team, don't celebrate too early. When others are sleeping, we work harder. The company exploded in growth. From a small room to one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in the world. Jack Ma, the man who was once rejected by KFC, was now changing the way China did business. But here's what made him truly different, his leadership. He said, if you want to be successful, help others become successful. He didn't see business as a fight, he saw it as cooperation. He believed money was not the goal, it was a byproduct of helping others. He didn't want to be the richest man. He wanted to be the most useful one. Jack Ma's story isn't about luck. It's about mindset, the kind that turns rejection into motivation. He once said, if you don't give up, you still have a chance. Giving up is the greatest failure. When you listen to his interviews, you'll notice something powerful, he never talks about technology, money, or power. He talks about people. About dreams. About attitude. He said, when people say you're stupid, you have two choices, believe them, or prove them wrong. He chose the second one, every single time. And that's how the boy who failed his exams, who was rejected from jobs, who was laughed at by investors, became one of the most respected entrepreneurs on earth. But the real lesson in Jack Ma's story isn't just about success. It's about how he stayed human while becoming successful. He said, we're not born to compete, we're born to make the world better. Even when Alibaba became massive, Jack stayed grounded. He would often tell young people, don't chase money. Chase learning. Because money will follow those who grow. He was never afraid of being different. When people said, you're crazy, he said, yes, but my craziness works. And maybe that's what success really is, staying true to your crazy dream when the world tells you to quit. When Alibaba began to grow, Jack Ma could finally breathe, but only for a moment. Because success doesn't mean peace. It means new problems, new pressure, and new responsibilities. He once said, when you are small, you have to be very focused and rely on your brain, not your strength. That's exactly what he did. The company started attracting attention. Competitors rose. Challenges multiplied. But Jack always reminded his team, if we have strong hearts, we will survive. He believed that the real power of a company lies not in technology, but in people. He said, I'm not a tech guy. I'm the guy who understands people. And that became his superpower. He didn't build Alibaba to become rich, he built it to solve a problem. In his eyes, small businesses were the backbone of society, yet no one cared about them. He wanted to give them a voice, a platform, a chance. When Alibaba started, China was still new to the concept of trust in online shopping. People didn't believe in paying online. So, Jack invented a simple but revolutionary system, Alipay. He said, I told my team, let's create a way for people to feel safe when they buy online. When he pitched Alipay, people called it stupid. Even the bank said, it will never work. But Jack said, I don't care if it's stupid, if people need it, we will build it. Years later, Alipay became one of the biggest digital payment systems in the world. He was never afraid to go against experts. He said, experts are always experts of yesterday. His belief was simple, don't follow trends, create them. And that's what Alibaba did. While other companies copied Western business models, Jack told his team, we will make our own. He built a company culture that valued loyalty, teamwork, and long-term vision. He once said, hire people who are smarter than you. If they are not smarter than you, you hired the wrong people. He wasn't the kind of boss who shouted orders. He was the kind who inspired people to believe. He told his employees, "We are not here to work for money. We are here to make history." That's what made people stay with him. They weren't working for a salary. They were working for a dream. But even with success, Jack never forgot where he came from. He still told stories of his failures, his rejections, and his fears, not to impress, but to remind people that everyone starts small. He said, "Before I started Alibaba, I was scared. I didn't know what would happen. But I told myself, if we fail, at least we tried." That mindset, to try, even when success seems impossible, is what separates winners from quitters. He used to say, "Never give up. Today is difficult, tomorrow is worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine." He knew that most people quit before the sunshine arrives. They give up when the night feels longest, not knowing that morning is right after. That's why Jack Ma kept going, no matter what. When Alibaba went public in 2014, it became one of the largest IPOs in history. From a small apartment to the New York Stock Exchange, that moment wasn't just about money. It was a symbol of belief. A symbol that dreams, no matter how impossible, can come true if you never stop walking toward them. But after reaching the top, Jack made another surprising move. He decided to step down as CEO. People were shocked. Why would someone leave the company he built? But Jack said, "I don't want to die in my office. I want to live on a beach, teaching young people how to dream." He always believed leadership was about letting go, not holding on. He said, "The best CEO is the one who makes himself useless to the company." He wanted Alibaba to live beyond him, to grow stronger without his name. That's what real leaders do. They build people, not empires. And when he finally stepped down, he didn't disappear. He turned to education, philanthropy, and inspiration, teaching students, empowering entrepreneurs, and guiding young dreamers around the world. Because that was his real purpose. Not just to make money, but to make a difference. He once said, "When you have more than you need, you must share with others." That's responsibility. He started programs to help rural teachers, to improve education, and to support small business owners. He wanted to give others the opportunities he never had. And that's the real definition of success, not when you reach the top, but when you lift others with you. Jack Ma's story teaches one timeless lesson: you don't need to be born rich to become great. You just need the courage to start, and the strength to keep going. He said, "When I was young, I never dreamed of being rich or powerful. I just wanted to survive. But I found that the more you help others, the luckier you become." His success was not built on intelligence, it was built on persistence. He said, "We are never in lack of money. We are in lack of people with dreams, who can die for those dreams." Think about that for a second. Most people say they want success, but only a few are willing to sacrifice for it. Jack Ma was one of those few. He believed in something bigger than money. He believed in the power of ordinary people. He believed that a teacher, a dreamer, or even a failure could change the world, if they refused to stop. Even after stepping away from Alibaba, he faced criticism and challenges. But Jack never complained. He said, "When you complain, nobody cares. When you solve problems, people respect you." That's how he lived. Solving, not complaining. Creating, not comparing. And that's why his story continues to inspire millions. His life is proof that no failure can define you, unless you allow it. He turned rejection into wisdom, fear into fuel, and failure into foundation. Jack Ma is not just a businessman. He is a reminder that ordinary people can build extraordinary futures. He once said, "If you want to win in the 21st century, empower others." And that's exactly what he did. The real story of Jack Ma isn't about Alibaba. It's about a young boy who never gave up, even when the world told him to. It's about believing in yourself when no one else does. It's about dreaming so big that people call you crazy, and then proving them wrong. He taught the world that success is not about how fast you reach the top, but how many times you get back up when you fall. So when life rejects you, remember Jack Ma, the man who was rejected by every job he applied for, and yet created jobs for millions. When people laugh at your dreams, remember him, the man who built an empire from nothing but belief. And when you feel like giving up, remember his words. Never give up. Because giving up is the greatest failure. Because maybe, like Jack Ma, your story isn't over yet. Maybe you're just in the middle, the part where everyone doubts you, where nothing makes sense. But one day, you'll look back, and realize, it all had a purpose. Every rejection, every failure, every sleepless night, was preparing you for your moment. So don't stop now. The world may not see it yet, but your Alibaba moment is coming. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep building. Because success doesn't come to the smartest, or the strongest. It comes to those who never give up. And that is the real story of Jack Ma.